why Canadians are leaving Canada for good, and why this mass exodus is irreversible. Today we're going to analyze the main reasons why Canadians are seeking a new home abroad and the destinations they are moving to. Personal freedoms are in decline in Canada. There is a big reason behind the mass exodus, and it has a lot to do with the recent legislation changes the new administration has implemented. Many Canadians have left Canada during the Trudeau administration, but the reality is the Carney administration isn't doing that much better. In March this year, the Canadian government took an extreme step to further reduce Canadian liberties across the board. The new administration has prohibited the ownership of over 170 firearms. Right, this happened earlier this year. This new legislation that was passed has shocked millions of Canadians. These new amendments are built on earlier firearm bans that happened a few years ago, in 2025 to be exact. Anyway, the point of all this is Canadians no longer feel like their Second Amendment rights are protected by Canada's Constitution. Many now want to abandon Canada altogether and move to a country where they can own firearms legally without too many restrictions. Many Canadians have considered moving south of the border into the United States of America, the country with the strongest Second Amendment rights in the entire world. Many Canadians are leaving to places like Paraguay and Panama, where they can own firearms legally. They just have to apply for permanent residency. Some argue that the Canadian authorities are banning these firearms to prevent massive civil unrest if and when it should happen. It is true that the banning of firearms further reduces your Second Amendment rights in Canada. One of the most burning questions Canadians have in 2025 is whether freedom of speech will continue to decline in the North American country. In recent years, the Canadian authorities and administrations have introduced new bills to further limit and reduce freedom of speech in Canada. People are concerned about the criminalization of legitimate content that should be covered by the Canadian Constitution. Critics argue that this new bill could potentially limit or even remove freedom of speech rights across Canada. It could even criminalize legitimate content that should be protected under the Constitution. You should be allowed to express your thoughts freely. Of course, you shouldn't threaten to harm anyone physically, but you should be allowed to express your thoughts freely throughout the internet without facing criminal prosecution. Another bill that's interesting that raised concerns across the board, especially in the eyes of Canadians, is Bill C-18. Now, there's a bit of a conflict of interest here because this act is put in place to prioritize Canadian news outlets over other internet sites that are publishing content. It requires some of the largest digital platforms on the internet to prioritize Canadian news content that is obviously controlled by the Canadian government, by the current administration. Some argue that that could create some kind of communist regime where the government controls major news outlets and how these major news outlets publish information. Now, the major media is controlled by the government anyway, but now they are looking to further restrict third parties like libertarian news sites from publishing content, or news outlets that want to publish opposing content, because content that questions certain narratives could be seen as conspiracy and anti-Semitism. They don't want to see much of that content anymore. The cost of living remains one of the biggest concerns Canadians have in 2025 and beyond. The cost of living in Canada is out of control. Many good, hard-working middle-class people can no longer afford a good middle-class lifestyle. They even have to cut down on necessities to survive. In early 2025, food prices rose 7.3% year over year. Now, that is more than what inflation should be. Inflation should always be hovering between 2 to 3%. That's normal, but 7.3% is way too high. And given the fact that we're no longer in a health crisis, I think 7.3% shouldn't even be on the table. Wages haven't increased 7.3% year over year in early 2025. No, that did not happen, but food prices have increased tremendously. In Ontario, rent inflation slowed down from 5.4% to 3%. A very modest middle-class tax cut was implemented as well, from 15 to 14%. Now, to put this in perspective, this insignificantly looking tax cut should save two Canadian households about $840 this year. Now, they are cutting down on permanent residency caps. I think that's a good thing for Canadian citizens and also current permanent residency pass holders, because those people should be protected first. And they're working on reducing the amount of permanent residencies that are being issued every single year for the next couple of years, which is good because it will help with housing affordability. It will also help with coping inflation and some other very important things. However, the numbers are just not there for the average Canadian household to really get excited about the current situation. Now, it was late in 2024 that the Bank of Canada said that the introduction of a retail CBDC is no longer a top priority, so this is definitely some positive news for our everyday Canadian. Now, to make this clear, this is about a digital Canadian dollar for everyday transactions. Now, they have stalled this, they're no longer working on it like before, so I think overall this is very positive news. The main problem in Canada is the lack of available jobs, and the median income is just not enough to afford a good middle-class lifestyle in Canada. So many Canadians with location-independent businesses, many wealthy Canadians, but also middle-class Canadians that earn their money online, they are moving to more tax-friendly and also cheaper destinations in Latin America. Many Canadians are obtaining Panamanian residency, which requires an income proof of just $1,000 monthly from the Canadian government. Many Canadians consider starting a business in Panama, where they can also obtain a visa under the Friendly Nations visa program. More and more Canadians are looking into Paraguay, the landlocked country located in the heart of South America that offers the easiest second residency permit across whole Latin America. You're not required to prove any income, you're not required to start a business, you're not required to prove savings. You can obtain Paraguayan residency without proving economic solvency. Now, this month, in September 2025, Nomad Elite offers significant discounts on our Paraguay residency packages. You can save $550 on our Plan B package, which is perfect if you want to come to Paraguay, make Paraguay your Plan B, Plan C, or Plan D, but you want to have Paraguayan residence and you want full support for the entire process associated with obtaining residency, because we help you with all the paperwork needed to get residency here in Paraguay. Our Plan B package includes all legal, government, and administrative fees, all processes, all appointments. We help you with the document translation and also the power of attorney so that we can withdraw your residency documents and have them mailed to your foreign address or hand them to you in person upon your return in Paraguay. Now, our Paraguay Plan B package is on sale this month. You save $550. You only pay $2,200 this month. Now, if you want to spend at least a few months per year in Paraguay or want to make Paraguay your main base, consider our Paraguay Relocate T package. It is built on a Plan B. You get all Plan B features plus the following. We help you with everything related to your national ID card application, driver's license, tax number, and bank account opening. All processes, all legal, government, and administrative fees are included for these services. You also get access to our Paraguay introduction training that consists of a set of pre-recorded videos for you to watch, where we answer questions on Paraguay. This month, you can purchase our Paraguay Relocate package for just $2,950. You save $1,000 if you sign up by September 30th, 2025. Are you ready to get Paraguayan residency? Go to nomadelite.com and click on book a consultation. I look forward to talking to you and helping you obtain residency in Paraguay. Thank you so much for watching Nomad Elite. I truly appreciate your attendance, and I look forward to welcoming you to Paraguay.